All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hello. It's one of those impromptus. I'm going to do better about scheduling what day I will be doing lives. I promise y'all I get better. But currently I am in teaching mode, and this actually is the busy part of the year for anybody that's in education. We're getting ready for testing season from now until the end of the year. And I teach several preps. So we are testing, retesting, monitoring, meeting, all that greatness. But I wanted to get on. I had to sit and do a couple of things when I came into the office, into my little workspace. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to see if anybody's going to hop on. If not, we will record, and I will post this both on within the group for Tumblers for Newbies, because that's my favorite little spot. You guys ask the best questions ever. And I've actually gotten some really good tips from you too. I'll show you some of the things I've been working on. I'm working on my first 10 tumblers that are actually going to go into my retail location. We're multitasking today. Anybody who doesn't know, I also pour candles. So I have candles burning. So if you see me looking to the side, I'm making sure the candle is lit because I'm doing a new technique of candle. And you've got to test it before you post it. You have to test it before you ever put anything in a retail situation, whether it is a cup, guys, no matter what it is. Make one for yourself, make one for your friend, maybe one or two family members, let them carry it around. Every tumbler series I make, every new technique I try, I always let the kids try it first. I have a Hydro Sport bottle. If you guys were here like episode maybe 1 or 2, I was so proud of my Hydro Sport, but my baby has already dropped it 5 times. And today the epoxy finally did give and crack a little bit on the bottom. So I'm actually going to use her Hydro Sport bottle to do a small tutorial just on how to fix it. It'll be my first time trying to fix one. The seal is not broken, so that's a good thing. It appears to be just a crack within those last probably 2 layers. So I'll do a video, have you guys walk me through, and if anybody has some advice while we're doing the live, be sure to let me know. If you have a friend, let them know whenever you see these 2 hashtags rolling. It is me. It is us. Just trying to get in, learn, talk, share. Y'all, I love sharing. It's just great when everybody gets it. And when you tell me like, hey, you could do this quicker, I'm going to try it. And if it works for me, I'm going to message you back. So don't forget that. I will follow you, and hopefully you will follow me. So let me show you what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to try to stay in focus and try not to have the longest live ever, because I have done that before. Pardon me, y'all. It's been a long day. Normally I have my tumbler going with me, but for some reason tumblers make me want to drink sweet tea, and I cannot drink that much caffeine in one day. Makes my ankles swell. I'm getting old. But so here's what we're working on for all of my people who are coming for the good wood grain. And my lighting is kind of bad. There we go. So underneath this beauty, we have some gorgeous red glitter. And let me pull that. One thing I did forget. So you can kind of have an idea of what we're working on. But currently I am in an intense relationship with Maker Flow glitter. And I also tried another company, Glitter Nuts, which I joined. They have a group on Facebook as well. I've seen a couple of tumblers, and I believe that they use the same products. Y'all, they are gorgeous. So I may have to do a video just with the different glitters, but I will wait until the sun sets behind me so you can try to figure out how great this is. But this tumbler is a 30-ounce skinny. I'll be honest, I'm a 30-ounce skinny kind of girl. It is my favorite tumbler. This one is tapered. I know that Stainless Steel Depot has started switching over, and now they're doing the straights for sublimation and just a regular stainless steel one. I got this question on the YouTube channel, and I just wanted to make sure I answered it. The biggest question was, can you use a sublimation tumbler and treat it as if it was a regular tumbler? And the answer is yes. You prep that baby the same as you would anything else, and you can put whatever you want on it. So that is the best part. But this is my 30-ounce skinny. I prep it as I do all of my tumblers. So I wet sand, just being a little lazy and not wanting to walk outside. And I'm a night worker. So normally it is 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's like a no. So wet sanded the cup, cleaned it with Dawn, wiped it down dry. I give mine a couple of seconds just to kind of do their thing and air dry. Spritz it with alcohol. Right now I can only find 70%. I think alcohol, guys, finding 91% in my little area. I don't know if all the healthcare workers or who is sucking up the alcohol, but the rest of us are out there looking. But 70% has worked for me, so I'm gonna keep going. I wipe the cup down, bring it in at my nice little, I did prep this cup. Most of my cups are prepped with white paint. So I spray paint white. I will do a Mod Podge here and there. I'm going to show you what I worked on with Mod Podge. I've been working on it. But this one was a flat white primer, nice and white. And then we added this. Can y'all see that? I'm going to try to let some of this light just like do what it do. This is from Maker Flow. So Maker Flow glitter, chili pepper. This baby is amazing. And what I really want to do, instead of doing the traditional wood grain, I have done like the honey colored or the sunflower colored. I've done my darker espressos. We're going to do something a little bit different. You can see with the scroll designs, I've already applied these. So after doing my glitter, my chunky glitter with a nice little thin layer of epoxy, I went ahead, allowed that to dry. I go back in and use the parchment paper method. For all of my newbies who are working with chunky glitter, I saw a post earlier today and somebody said they were using 8 to 10 layers of epoxy to cover chunky glitter. Okay, first of all, no. Y'all, that cup will weigh 1,000 pounds if you keep doing that. And it takes time. But I highly recommend either you take a gloved hand and you pat it lightly to smooth your glitter out. Or what I do is tear a piece of parchment paper. I let the turner go for about 2 hours with the cup on it right after glittering. And then I come in, stop my cup, wrap it lightly, and I lightly tap all the way around. And I'm able to get a nice smooth coverage within like 2 layers of epoxy. So it's all I've been needing so far. So work at really smoothing your epoxy. I found this pattern. It's actually one of the ones on Cricut Design Space for cards. I expanded it out to cover an entire page and I wrapped it. And I'm going to show you something else because you guys probably noticed this. You see where the tape buckles? Let me tell you something about these tapered cups. Number one, if you're doing a full wrap, you're going to figure out the top part of your cup is gorgeous. It's fine. It's when you hit the taper and we start coming down that you start having some issues. You can create the curve for your tapered cup in Design Space. I just don't. Yeah, I'm lazy. I haven't gotten to that point. Me and Design Space have a good relationship. I don't have any problems with it, but I'm one of those. I'm probably going to sit down this summer and really invest time in getting to know Design Space because I know I can curve and arch and do all those things. Just haven't done it. So when you're applying this, I apply in the middle. I only scroll around and put that one side down, and I can do a video that shows you that step. And then I work on the other side and pull them to a point and take my scissors and just snip. Now, you have buckles. Some people are really particular about these buckles, but afterwards you're gonna spray paint. This is a nice white coat I spray painted this morning that is completely dry. It was spray painted before I went to work, so it has 8 hours to do its thing. You will not be able to tell that those creases are even there. If you ever get a crease, instead of trying to pull it back up and move it over, pinch it closely, make sure it's flat to the cup as possible. And what you're gonna notice is as I'm wood graining over this, as long as the wood grain the alcohol ink cannot get under that decal, you're gonna be fine. So I've had to do it a couple of times. You can kind of see on the side where my seams started, and it's one of those sides I had to correct. And it's coming from the taper. Don't let those parts, y'all see what I'm saying? Don't let that throw you off. Don't spend an hour, 2 hours trying to make it better. My first cup I did, and somebody was like, don't do it. You're killing time. And honestly, you won't be able to see it. Wood is not perfect. Wood grain doesn't have to be perfect, and I kind of like it when it's not. So We're going to do this on the 30. Using our chili pepper from Maker's Flow. I ordered these when they first came out with all 24 of the series. So I ordered the big kit. Love the kit. They are mostly holographic glitters. They are chunkies. There are a few mixes in there, and 1 or 2 of them may be fine, but they are gorgeous in color and holds up really well. I'm going to be using the Holtz alcohol inks. Now, 2 of these are different. This is my alcohol ink. We're going to be using a little espresso, if I can get a nice little moment, because I like the dark tone. Now, you hear that ball? These are mixatives. And mixatives technically can be added. They can be added to paints. They can be added to epoxy. If you do like resin molds or anything like that, you can use your mixatives to add that color into your epoxy overall. I've actually never done that. I'll be honest. I bought I think 6 or 8 pack of these, not realizing that a mixative is different from alcohol ink. Who knew, y'all? Didn't know. I saw the bottle. I was like, oh, that's either Tim Holtz or Jim Holtz. I got excited. It's Holtz. I'm ready. And then I started using it, and the more I used it, I'm like, it's a little bit different. It is a little bit different because I wasn't using exactly the right thing. But these create the nicest effect. And I end up getting the metallic brand. Y'all, they have a mixative in copper. Copper is beautiful. It is actually amazing. So, and I have a cup that I did with the copper, and we'll take a look at that one as well. But I'm going to use the Espresso Gunmetal, which I haven't had a chance to play with just yet, and then silver. So I'm going to stick it to 3 colors. We're going to use our handy dandy Mod Podge brush. I've seen a couple of videos where the makeup brush applicator works really, really well. I know some people still sponge. I've seen people do it with paper towels. I actually don't even rinse my little alcohol brush because I like what happens when your alcohol kind of interacts with another color. Unless you know you want like a white and silverish tone only within that product. So I'm going to do gloves. I've been asked questions as far as, do you use just the regular latex gloves? I use nitrile gloves as much as possible. I'm not allergic to latex. It's just not one of my friends. I work in science, so these are pretty easy for me to get my hands on, being that I'm a science teacher. So I just kind of stick it with that, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to bring you guys down to my workspace so you can get a little view of what's going on today. I'm going to cover this with parchment paper. I do have several of the silicone mats, but y'all, being the person that I am, me and parchment get along. Costco and I have a wonderful relationship. So what I tend to do is I'm going to kind of figure out who's going to be where. I like my lighter color to go in between because I alternate around which one I'm going to use. Now go ahead and open these, and we're going to treat these just like we would the alcohol ink. Wherever I know I want to make a little change, I keep my handy little bottle of alcohol to the side because alcohol will activate alcohol. Now, keep in mind, this is something I really, really want you guys to focus on. You don't want to add too much. So if you do too much alcohol ink, what's going to happen is it's going to start to remove itself and create really weird streaks, and you don't want that. So it's one of the things I definitely want you to keep in mind and keep an eye on as you're working. I'm going to start with espresso. So I'm going to go in with espresso. You also don't want it to run. So what I tend to do is I will pat because I am heavy-handed. I don't forget my bottom as I'm going around. And notice that alcohol ink, guys, is going to dry really, really quickly. I'm going to go in with my Mixative Silver. Same thing with that. And you're going to notice, actually, the Mixative is going to give you a whole different feel. But it actually spreads a lot further. Y'all, look at that silver. That silver is awesome. I promise y'all, this metal series have just... they've been amazing. This is the Gunmetal. And my goal here, because that chili pepper color is so pretty and it's so intense, I really wanted to be sure that I added something in that background area that was going to speak to it. And I'm going to brush over some of the areas that I've been to before. Now, some people only go in one direction. I get it. But I go both ways sometimes. Just being difficult. I just did espresso. I've also seen it where people will go through and do an entire first layer. And they they only use that one alcohol ink for that first layer. So it's something else that you may want to think about. That's a possibility. And because my silver and my gunmetal are so similar to one another, I may go back in with an overlap and add in another color too. So, because right now the depth in this is really coming mainly from that espresso. And when that espresso hits that mixative, it's going to give it a nice little color. And I want you guys to kind of see what we have going there. So we're going to blend. I always go around my cups at least twice. I will hit my brush. I think it's really important to make sure you are hitting that brush as often as possible. And the other thing that I try to do is sometimes I don't start directly at the top. Sometimes I will start toward the middle of the cup. So it's just going to give it that little look. Here's something else that I learned. It's actually in episode 5 of our Oops video. Don't forget the rim of your cup. I've noticed that a lot of people really avoid the rim. They're nervous about taking that wood grain color all the way up. And that's something else that you really want to pay attention to. I'm looking at my decals as I go. Just brushing down. I overlap. I don't hesitate. And if you decide there's something else in the area that you want to see, add it. If you don't like it, you can always remove this with acetone. So acetone will take this little layer off. Now, here's something else. At a certain part of my cup, I add a little alcohol to my brush itself. And I will go over the cup. And I'm kind of doing that same thing. I'm paying attention, quite a bit of attention, to my rim. My rim and my bottom. And this is kind of where we are right now. If you're only doing a wood grain or alcohol ink cup, guys, and that doesn't give you a lot of variation, but I promise you when it is time to remove this gorgeous decal, we're going to reveal colors like you have not seen before. And that's what that bottom is looking like. It gives it a really, really metally look. And I'm going to let this layer dry. I'm kind of done with my mixatives because they're going to do really good coverage. So it's one thing. And while this is drying, I'm actually going to grab one more color. I want to do a little variation. So when you're thinking about variations, just different varieties that you could possibly kind of work with and get in, think about the overall goal of your cup. And I also pay attention to which of those colors I'm using most often. So that's going to be another thing to kind of keep in mind. All right, so my first layer, I had 2 mixatives. One was in silver, the other one was your gunmetal, and we were using espresso. And then, of course, we're going to add this little baby just to go around a couple of spots that I want to darken just a little bit. And that's going to be your teak wood. All right. So, since I don't have any comments currently, you're going to notice that's these. We're going to be really, really sparing with this because I don't want it to sit too long. And it kind of almost gives you that bronze feel. Kind of reminds me of when you're looking at, what is it, Wonder Woman? And she has her armor. Is kind of what it reminds me of. Be careful though. Remember, you should be covering all of your spaces, all of your spots. I want to get some direction. I'm going to use this brush. And there are times, y'all, where I want to be sure that I'm kind of getting the effect that I want. It's probably going to be my last moment. The other thing about the mixatives, you know how sometimes you will overlap your alcohol inks? And if you overlap, you start to get those clear areas where the alcohol ink is actually working against it because you've done a couple too many layers. The mixative is really nice because it doesn't do that. I'm going to go in one more time. And just hit my little brush. And the brush is kind of twofold because these shed, I'll be honest, they do shed quite a bit. It's going to help some of your mixative move around because you want to be careful. See how you have that white edge there? You want to be careful that your edges are filled in. Now, let's say you're going for a geode kind of look. So you want to remove your decal and be able to see more than one color at that base. If you spray paint the darker color and then spray paint over it with a lighter color, when you remove it, and I just touched that, you're going to notice you can actually see both of those. All right, so this is where we are. And I think I'm liking it. It's kind of like it is. I love the metallic sheen of it. Like, it's probably one of the best things I think I have mistakenly bought so far. So I'm going to sit that one to the side. And we're going to check on a couple of things. Oh, yeah, my candle burned out. It's kind of hard when you are working with new candles because you've got to test everything. So that is going to be that one. And then I have another one I want you guys to see as well. And I'll show you the one that I did with the copper. And then I'll show you the end result the power wash one that we did as well. So you guys just give me a second, kind of bear with me. Then I will get that one done because right now my little baby candle is drowning and it's gone out. So it's kind of what I'm working with now. Trying to see if these babies are going to burn because they are adorable. But nobody wants a cute candle that does not burn. All right. So, and I'll bring you back up so you can kind of see me just a little bit. All right. Let's not chop my head off today. All right. So that was our wood grain with alternative colors. Now there are greens in the kit. If you bought the entire alcohol ink set, I prefer to buy sets. So if you have a set of 12, 24, I want all the colors. And I've been trying to figure out different ways to use those. But I want to share this one with you. This is one that I did using a blue base. So it's a nice, just flat blue leftover paint. And I added in the copper, the gold metal, and a little bit of white. Y'all, that is adorable. And they wanted it as if they were touching a pipe. So I took a couple of hand moments and put those on there as well. But nice, simple cup. These cups are from Rural King. So the ones that are on clearance, $2.93. Those are the ones that I use for these. They start off that powder coated green color. And if you go back to episodes 1 through 3, we talk in depth about how to sand that powdered coat. It does not have to be completely removed. So don't spend all of your time doing that either. So it's one of the ones that's going to the store. And then this is one of those cups where, you know how you order glitter and you really love it, but you cannot figure out what to do with it? I tried my hands at doing a little ombre. I've been working with ombre, y'all, trying to get it right. Like, it doesn't quite look right, but somebody's going to give me some tips on this ombre-ness. But this one says, I speak fluent sarcasm. And I did the power wash method. And what I love, look at the sparkle. All of these are Maker Flow glitters. So power wash, and remember, you always hit your bottoms, but you can power wash in more than one color. You can power wash in a rainbow effect, which I think is going to be one of my next cups because all these are going into my store. So I'm trying to do things that are general, maybe do 4 for guys and 6 for girls just to kind of start with. But this is that 30-ounce skinny as well. So I will finish this one up and tighten it up and we should be good. So it takes care of those two. There's one more thing I want to show you guys before I let you go for tonight. I've been working on a project, and we had talked about this project a little bit before. And I was trying to make sure it would kind of work, and maybe I could get a handle on it, because that was going to be the biggest thing. So this is only my second one, so y'all be nice. But this is the unicorn tumbler. And what I was trying to do in the face is create this little 3D effect. So it looks like the cheeks are kind of sitting up a little bit. But these are what I've been calling my coloring book tumblers. Y'all look at those. Whenever you get little sample glitters, I ordered a glitter set, and I was trying to keep glitter from random places, and y'all see that doesn't work. But I ordered a set, and it came with a couple of sample glitters. And if you ever get sample glitter, it's normally less than an ounce, so it might be like a quarter of an ounce of glitter. And you're thinking to yourself, what the heck do I do with this? Well, some people send it to their customers or clients, but what I tend to do, some people will dump it into a dump cup and just keep it until it gets to a point. I use it on these. It's just enough glitter to cover the sections. And I'm trying to figure out, I think I'm going to add like a sprinkling of glitter and find something pretty cool to say on the back. But for tonight, I just wanted to get a coat of epoxy on this baby to seal it. This one is a 30. Y'all know 30s are my favorite. I do 20s, y'all. I promise y'all I've done like 1 or 2. But my 20s tend to go really quickly as well. This is a 30-ounce skinny from Stainless Steel Depot. It was actually base coated, so sand, wash with done, clean, all that greatness. And then do a base coat in this purple color. It's a purplish plum, and I'll find out the exact name. Rust-Oleum flat paint. And then we laid down vinyl for the coloring book page and just added that in. So there are plenty of things you guys can do, a lot of different ways to be able to work things out. Take your time, figure out what works for you. And if you have a question, definitely let me know. I thank you for joining me for a crafter's journey. I'm Chandria, owner of BCJ Decor, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.